Terror-related arrests are on the rise. Over the past 2 years, authorities around the world have arrested nearly 70 people on ISIS-related charges. And just this year in the U.S. alone, 49 people have been arrested on suspicion of supporting ISIS. Here now to talk about it, Rick Grinnell. He's a former advisor to 4 U.S. ambassadors to the UN. He's also a Fox News contributor. Also joining us, Aaron MacLean. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and Tara Mala, a former military analyst at the CIA. Rick, let me begin with you. More people being arrested, but do you get the feeling it's just the tip of the iceberg?
Yeah, I think, look, what we've seen over the last year is that ISIS and the Islamic State are growing. Not only are they growing physically, people are moving to this area, this region, because they're trying to create a whole state. But what's also happening is they're growing in their patriotism and popularity around the world. We're seeing a lot of people feel like the growth of ISIS is something that they want to be a part. One way to defeat them is to actually defeat them physically, because then no one wants to be a part of the losing team.
But they are very successful in getting their ideology out there through social media. Aaron, how can you stop that? And how do authorities clamp down on that?
Well, I concur completely. I think the thing to do is to go after them in the Middle East. Look, so long as they continue to exist as a kind of proto-state living out in the open, they're going to be a banner around which affected young Muslims, men and women, can rally. It's a cancer, and it's metastasizing, and you go straight to the tumor.
Tara, get to the tumor. Are we doing a good job right now on these so-called lone wolf attacks? I mean, virtually, in my mind, very, very difficult to prevent. But we seem to be doing okay. We've had 49 arrests in the country so far this year. But how many more are out there? Are they doing a good job on trying to reach these people before they take action?
I think we've seen law enforcement do a good job. We saw extra warnings and notifications go out in the lead up to July 4th. There have been a number of arrests of cells and individuals in the United States, and we haven't seen a substantial attack. We've also seen gains against ISIS and ISIL in territory in Syria and Iraq, and hopefully that's undermining some of the inspiration and the motivation for others to join the movement when they see that the group is coming under attack through airstrikes. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and there's been it's not perfect, and it's not by any means yet defeated, and there's a long road ahead, but there have been significant gains, significant losses of territory, and significant efforts against them on the social media front as well. Again, not perfect and still a long ways to go, but there's been some progress made over the past year.
Would you agree with that, Rick? They're still there, they're still around, and they're still, I guess you could say, holding their ground. They have had some defeats, but they're still very much a factor, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're huge. I mean, I'm not sure what information she's gathering, because if you look at even what the Associated Press is saying this morning, you look at what the UN reports have said, this is an entity that is growing. It is not only growing throughout Syria, but now we've got the whole region is really perplexed by the growth and what to do. You literally have seen Europeans move into the Islamic State who are teachers and doctors. They are trying to create an Islamic State physically. They're trying to get a capital. They have a flag. They are trying to be a legitimate government. And what's sad is that we're treating them like it's just something JV or something not to be taken seriously. And I think that's part of the problem.
If I can respond on that,
ahead,
I agree with you that overall they are growing. I'm just saying, if you look back over the course of the last year, if you look at the DOD numbers, there have been 5,500 airstrikes against ISIS stronghold territory and targets within Iraq and Syria. There have been over 7,000 targets hit, multiple hundreds of staging ground areas hit, a lot more intelligence gleaned on this group, and about 10% of their territory has been retaken.
That's absolutely not true. There is not more intelligence that have been gone on this group. If you just look at our intelligence agencies in Yemen and other places, we have withdrawn our intelligence agencies. The facts show that we're hitting targets that are old. We tried to rescue some people who were hostages, a journalist and another American.
Rick, let me
By
just
the time our intelligence officers got there, they were gone.
Let me give the last word to Aaron. Who do you agree with on this issue, Aaron?
Well, I think there's a kabuki theater aspect to these airstrikes. You know, a cynic might suggest that the real purpose of this air campaign is not to degrade or defeat ISIS, but to give the American people the impression that something is being done on their behalf while avoiding a meaningful commitment for the military in the Middle East. These reports this morning that these airstrikes are not having a significant effect, that's totally unsurprising. That's consistent with everything we've learned since September.
All right, we're already out of time. Thank you to you all, Rick, Aaron, and Tara. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.